This one's wife. Harry, you utter moron. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. Harry, through accident of birth, found himself born a prince. He later became, as a consequence of a gift from his late grandmother, the Duke of Sussex, the Earl of Dumbarton. He has lived a life of privilege. He didn't choose that, it was thrust upon him. But he has been afforded many advantages that many people could only ever dream of, experiences that they would never come anywhere near, access to privilege and support that they would not even get a sniff of. As a consequence of the guardrails of the palace's management of Harry, this enabled them to foster the better aspects of his personality, an interest in charity, particularly where he was able to roll his sleeves up and get stuck in. He commanded a degree of respect. Much of the public liked him. He was seen as the playboy prince, the refreshing alternative to the more serious William, who, of course, had the responsibility of forthcoming kingship on his shoulders. Harry was a bit of a lad. He liked to go to Bonkers' night spot, chug some beers, and pop along for a bab from Abracadabra afterwards. He made some mistakes, but people gave him a pass as a consequence of what had happened through the loss of his mother. But he was still a royal that turned up at royal events, that cut ribbons, that shook hands and discharged his obligations, all with a bit of a cheeky smile and a chat with the kiddywinkles. And look at him now. He was left laughing and slightly red-faced after being mocked about his memoir and life in the United States during an appearance on comedian Hassan Minhaj's show. The Duke of Sussex joined the American Joker on his latest episode of Hassan Minhaj Doesn't Know, where the pair discussed everything from mental health and fatherhood to Harry's growing American habits. At one point, Minhaj pointed fun at a passage from Harry's memoir Spare, where the prince revealed that his father, then Prince Charles, gave him an official clothing allowance, but only for formal wear. Reading aloud from the book, Minhaj said, "Each year I received from Pa an official clothing allowance, but that was strictly for formal wear, suits and ties, ceremonial outfits. For my everyday casual looks, I'd go to TK Maxx, the discount store. I was particularly fond of their once-a-year sale, when they'd be flush with items from Gap or J. Crew, items that had just gone out of season or were slightly damaged." The comedian then joked with him, quipping, "Bro, I'm sorry you had to go through that." Harry, grinning, replied, "You know what? It was hard. It was really hard. TK Maxx is now a special place in my memory." While also touching on more serious subjects, when asked about whether he was going to become a US citizen, the prince refused to rule it out, saying, "There are no plans to be at this point." During a round of rapid-fire royal questions, Harry was asked what his kids thought he did, to which all he could say was that they know I help other people. The Duke also showed off his sense of humour when Minhaj challenged him to show just how American he's become. Well, let's have a look at that bit of footage from the podcast to see just how he performed. Here it is.
How's your yeehaw?
Yeehaw!
Can you do an American accent?
Which part of America?
Anywhere. I'll give you a sentence. Here, I'll give you a sentence.
Are you going to ask me? You got a sentence there.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
it depends on what it says.
All right, here we go.
Try.
This is the most American sentence I could think of. I ordered breadsticks with ranch dressing at Applebee's.
I ordered. Say it again.
The ranch. You got to hit
Ranch.
And then on Applebee's, really emphasize the A. Applebee's.
A Applebee's.
I love Applebee's.
I love Applebee's. Now I'm just sitting here sweating.
I ordered breadsticks with ranch dressing.
I ordered breadsticks with ranch dressing at Applebee's.
That was decent.
I enjoyed that.
You love it. Hey, do you like my Cybertruck?
Hey, do you like my Cybertruck?
You guys out there, you cannot laugh like this. We're having a real thing.
No, but by the way, the laughter, it's encouraging. Is it encouraging or is it mocking me? I'm
No,
not sure.
I
Come on, y'all.
we have a. There we go.
There we go. There
Yeah.
it is.
Oh dear. Oh dear indeed. Harry, you were once performing serious roles as a member of royalty, and now you're having the piss taken out of you as you attempt, and very badly, to emulate an American accent. This is where you've got to. This is a consequence of you tagging along with your wife's awful fantasy that you share in. That as a consequence of the control that she's asserted over you and your willingness to embrace it, as a consequence of your resentment towards your family, this is the path that you've chosen. Sitting, having a comedian take the piss out of you while you look like a complete moron. It's cringeworthy. This is where he's got to. Relegated to the role of going, yeehaw, on a podcast. What does that tell you about this man in his 40s? The permanent man-child? The idiot? The moron? Apparently, the conversation turned to social media. Harry said, "Social media is taking young men and young boys into very dark places, which should concern all of us." He revealed that he and this one's wife have had our fair share of beatings on social media. Some might say you haven't met anywhere near enough yet. And that the couple's move to California had given them a chance to focus on causes they truly cared about. What, like trying to join the A-list and be part of the Hollywood glitterati, I suppose, too. "When we moved to America, we could focus on things really aligned to our passions, and the tech industry wasn't one of those. But what we were in search of was what is the root cause of so much suffering and pain around the world. And if we can identify that, how can we shine a light on that and the people trying to change the industry? And it was the tech industry and social media. We talk about it a lot." Presumably as a consequence of this one's wife saying, "Hey Harry, here's another video I'm putting on Instagram. And I think because of what we know, now we will be way more cautious and hesitant of allowing our kids to have access to social media." Hang on a second. You're going to be hesitant of allowing your kids to have access to social media when your wife regularly plasters them all over fucking social media. Admittedly, you don't see their faces, but the fact is, she continues to do it. Harry, this was a moronic performance. Not only did you demonstrate once again that you talk bollocks as a consequence of saying that you're trying to protect children through the utilization of social media, social media, and yet your wife utilizes them as the commodities that she subconsciously sees them as, but you also acted like a performing monkey as this comedian roundly took the piss out of you and you sat there. You at least did have the decency to say you were sweating, probably as a consequence of embarrassment, or it might be that you were having withdrawals, but let's just say that it was a consequence of embarrassment. But the fact is, this is where your wife has dragged you to. Turning up in podcasts, trying to do American accents. What a moron. I'm HG Tudor. Thank you for watching.